Good morning, sir. Today I'm going to present my analysis of the Plaza, an events and hospitality business located in Pulchok, Lalitpur. The main question of my presentation is the Plaza actually sustainable? To answer this question, I have used a PESTEL analysis and also looked at how an environmental management system or EMS can help the business improve its sustainability. My main argument is that the plaza has good potential to become more sustainable, but at the moment it cannot yet be called fully sustainable. In this presentation, I will briefly explain the business, discuss the most important pestle factors, identify the main sustainability gaps, give some recommendations, and explain how an EMS based on ISO 14001 could help. So, moving on to the next slide. First, let me briefly explain what the Plaza does. The Plaza is an events and hospitality business in Puljok, Lalitpur. It hosts different types of events such as weddings, corporate events, private parties, and other customized events. Running these events requires a lot of resources. For example, electricity is needed for lighting, sound system, and air conditioning. Water is needed for cooking, cleaning, and washrooms. There's also food, drinks, decorations, and packaging. And after an event, the business has to deal with the waste that has been produced. So it creates an important sustainability challenge. The plaza wants to give customers a good experience, but providing that experience also requires energy, water, and other resources. This is why I selected the plaza for this analysis. So moving to the PESTEL analysis, I focused on the factors that have the highest impact on the plaza, rather than discussing every factor equally. The first and most important factor is environmental. Every event uses electricity and water and creates waste. For example, air conditioning and lighting can increase electricity consumption while cooking, cleaning, and washrooms require water. Food waste and general waste are also important concerns. This is the factor where an EMS can make the biggest difference. The second factor is economic. Sustainability improvements may require some investment at the beginning. For example, energy efficient lighting, water saving equipment, and better waste sorting systems can have an initial cost. But in the long term, these changes can reduce electricity, water, and waste expenses. So, sustainability should not only be seen as a cost, it can also be an investment. The third factor is social. Customers are becoming more aware of responsible business practices. They may look beyond price and service and also consider how responsibly a business operates. This creates an opportunity for the plaza. However, the business needs to support any sustainability claims with real evidence. So now let's look at what the plaza is doing well and where the gaps are. One positive point is that the plaza is an established business, so it has the potential to invest in sustainability improvements. It does not need to completely change its business model. The main resource areas are already clear, for example, energy, water, and waste. However, the biggest problem is the lack of clear data and measurable sustainability targets. For example, there is no clear baseline showing how much energy and water are used per event, how much food is wasted, or how much waste is recycled. This is important because we cannot improve what we do not measure. Another important point is that simply following environmental rules does not automatically mean a business is sustainable. Sustainability requires continuous improvement. So the plaza has a good starting point, but it needs a more organized system to measure and improve its performance. So next is, based on my analysis, I have five main recommendations. The first is start measuring. The plaza should track energy, water, food waste, and general waste for each event. Second, work with local suppliers wherever possible. This can help reduce transportation impacts and support local businesses. Third, reduce single use items. Where practical, disposable products should be replaced with reusable alternatives. Fourth, train the team. Staff can be trained in simple practices such as switching off unnecessary equipment, avoiding unnecessary water use, and sorting waste correctly. The last and the fifth is be transparent with clients. The plaza should communicate what it is actually doing rather than simply making general sustainability claims. For example, if energy or waste has been reduced, the business can share that progress. Those recommendations are practical and do not require the business to completely change its operations. So now let's look at how an environmental management system can support this recommendation. I have suggested a five step approach. The first step is to check where the business currently stands by measuring energy, water, food waste, packaging, and general waste. The second step is to set realistic targets. For example, the plaza could aim to reduce electricity and water use per guest and improve waste sorting. The third step is to set environmental expectations for suppliers, especially caterers and decorators who may use a lot of packaging and disposable materials. The fourth step is to review the results every month. This allows the business to see whether it is actually improving. And the fifth step is to be transparent by sharing measurable progress with clients. This is where ISO 14001 can be useful. It provides a structured approach to environmental management and focus on continuous improvement rather than treating sustainability as a one-time activity. So now what can EMS can fix and what it can? Okay, however, an EMS has some limitation. It can help the plaza with environmental issues such as energy use, water consumption, waste management, and regular environmental audits. It can also help turn sustainability into an ongoing business practice. But an EMS cannot solve every sustainability issue. For example, it does not automatically address how staff are treated or paid. It can it also cannot completely solve the impact that events may have on the local community. This issue requires a broader business strategy. So the plaza should understand that an EMS mainly focus on the environmental side of sustainability. Employee well-being, fair practices, and community impact also need attention. So, coming back to my main question, is the plaza actually sustainable? My answer is not yet, but it is a fixable problem. At the moment, there is not enough public evidence to say that the plaza is fully sustainable. The main issue is not necessarily a lack of potential. The plaza already has a functioning business and knows where most of its resources are being used. The biggest gap is the lack of clear data, targets, and measurable results. An EMS based on ISO 14001 could help the business measure its impact, set targets, and monitor improvement. But sustainability should also include people and the community. So the plaza should combine environmental improvements with fair practices, staff training, and local sourcing. So finally, to conclude, the plaza has good potential to become more sustainable, but it cannot yet be called fully sustainable. The main sustainability challenges are energy use, water consumption, food waste, and general waste. The biggest gap is the lack of clear data and measurable sustainability targets. Therefore, my main recommendation is measure first, improve gradually, and show real results. The plaza can start with simple action such as tracking resource use, reducing single use products, working with local suppliers, and training employees. Then, an EMS based on ISO 14001 can bring this action together into a more organized system. But an EMS alone is not enough. The plaza should also consider employee well being, fair practices, and its impact on the local community. So, my last or final message is sustainability is not just about doing better, it is about measuring the improvement and proving it. For the plaza, the goal should not simply be to say we are sustainable, the goal should be to show actual evidence of improvement. Thank you.